Good morning and welcome to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, home of the Providence College Friars, as they get set to take on the Seton Hall Pirates in Big East women's basketball action. I'm Mike Mancuso, joined today by Pam Roker. Glad you could join us here on the Big East Digital Network. And Pam, this is shaping up to be quite the matchup here this morning, as we've got Project Providence in town as well. But before we get to the game, we'll take a look at the projected bracket for the Big East tournament heading into the weekend. And there you see it right there. Seton Hall currently in the 4 seed.
I'll tell you what, it's getting exciting, Mike, in the stretch run. Pirates are currently one of 6 teams that still have a chance to finish as high as second place. Coach Bozzella said we're right there in terms of making a move with 5 games to go. And he really feels if they play well, they can beat anyone, but they can't let this Providence team get the best of them today.
And of course, the Friars trying to build some momentum late in this season as they head into the Big East tournament as well. Now, when we take a look at this Seton Hall team, one of the players that absolutely has to stand out, Seton Samuels, last year's most improved player and this year's preseason player of the year.
Well, the young lady's playing her best basketball of the year right now, and she's a force on both ends. She's one of the most exciting and powerful players in the league, Mike. She leads Seton Hall in scoring and rebounding, and she's shooting the ball at a pace of 57% from the floor. Certainly somebody the Friars are going to have to pay attention to this morning.
And, of course, on the other side of the hardwood for the Friars, they've been looking to one of their guards, Erlette Scott, the sophomore.
Yeah, she's part of the all-sophomore starting lineup, and at 5'10", she's got great size at the guard position. She really contributes at both ends, and over the last 5 games, she's averaged 12 points for the Friars, so really starting to pick things up offensively as well as being a defensive stopper.
And it's going to be a loud one here in Providence with 1,400 kids in attendance for Project Providence. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening tip. That's coming up next right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome back to Friartown, just moments away from the opening tip. Time to send it on over to the third member of our team today, Megan Caffrey.
Thanks, Mike. Both coaches stressed pace coming into today's game. The Seton Hall Pirates are third in the league in scoring offense, averaging just over 71 points per game. The Pirates like to get out in transition and play a high-paced offense. That's going to be important for the Friars to stop today. Providence head coach Jim Crowley told us his team's defense was unacceptable after their last game against Creighton. He said in practice this week, the Friars focused on communication and slowing down the tempo on defense. Mike and Pam?
And thank you, Megan. Yes, key points there. The pace of this one, who will be able to dictate and enforce it on their opponent? The Friars today in the home whites with the black numerals. Seton Hall with the road royal blue and white numerals. Friars will be moving from left to right across your screen. The Pirates from right to left. Here we go. It'll be Mary Baskerville and Seton Samuels. Friars win the opening tip. And we are underway in Providence. Here's Erlette Scott. Looking around up top, here's Kayla Webb. Now inside for Geary. Friars would love to pound the ball inside. Baskerville and Geary both on the floor. Geary from the free throw line, a little off the mark, and that one's going to be collected by Lewis.
You talked about the pace of the game, and one of the things Coach Crowley talked about, Megan alluded to it, was longer possessions at both ends, Mike, making the Pirates work at this end, using some shot clock in the offensive zone as well.
Trying to set up in that corner was Alesh. From the outside, Park Lane shot won't go, and the rebound into the hands of Kayla Webb. Webb will deliver it over near side. Here is Geary. Geary trying to work her way inside. Leaves it now for Baskerville. Around it goes for Sophia Widmeyer. An all-sophomore lineup here for head coach Jim Crowley as they go to Baskerville, the reigning Big East freshman of the year. Misses on her first, and here come the Pirates quickly in transition.
Yeah, the future's bright for the Friars with this sophomore lineup.
Sophia Widmore, one of those sophomores getting some more time as of late. High off the glass and in.
Yeah, Sophia Widmore's really worked her way into this starting lineup. Coach Crowley high praise for that young lady. Said she's really trusted the process, has worked hard, and has been making the most of this opportunity in the starting lineup.
Yeah, a lot of the reason for it, Olivia Orlando out indefinitely with a leg injury, but Widmeyer making the most of her minutes as the Friars come up with another stop. Kayla Webb with the steal, leaving it for Baskerville inside for Geary, and maybe one pass too many that time. So you even see the my bad from Baskerville.
Well, and it's too low, Mike. The 6'4" Geary, you want to give the ball to your big players that are going to run the floor, really set them up for success. That bounce pass, just no life on it.
And that's
never came off the floor.
And one of those opportunities the Friars just can't afford to have go by the wayside. Got to convert on all your chances. That one from the outside won't go for Lewis. Another rebound for the Friars. And Seton Hall off to a cold start here shooting the ball.
And really the Providence Friars, one of the goals also was to limit the Pirates to one shot. Good start on the defensive glass for Providence.
Here's Geary trying to work inside, had it knocked away. Good little poke there from Elmore. An easy hoop for Shadeen Samuels.
And that's how the Pirates want to play. They want to turn that defensive energy into offense. Geary putting the ball on the floor against this quick, aggressive Pirates defense. That was a good steal.
One of the key points from Coach Bozzella in our talk with him was that transitional offense. Here's Geary from the perimeter, and she hits the three ball.
Yeah, she's a tough matchup at 6'4". She's got good moves inside, and she can stretch the defense with the three.
Alesh getting stuck on the baseline, able to kick it out to Park Lane, now gets it back. Elmore goes in motion, trying to work against Geary and Baskerville. Now the kick out for Alesh. Three ball is good. A quick answer there by Alexia Alesh.
And assist to Elmore. She recognized no move available against the 6'4" Geary. That was a good kick out.
Arlette Scott trying to penetrate high off the window, no good. Baskerville the rebound, denied, no foul, but a jump ball, possession arrow favoring the Pirates.
Baskerville the leading rebounder for the Friars. Good job chasing the offensive glass. You better be strong with the basketball against the physical Pirates team. That's one of the things Coach Crowley talked about. We've got to match their physicality.
Here's Elmore out high, trying to get Samuels going. Elmore once again puts up the jumper. That one's short, and Geary the rebound.
That's a tough matchup for Geary, the more mobile forward in Elmore.
Geary looking inside for Baskerville right against Samuels, and is going to draw the contact, and will be heading to the line shooting two. Nice little move that time from Mary Baskerville.
Anytime you talk to Coach Crowley, he talks about paint touches, and the offense really runs through Baskerville. That's when they're at their best, and a very aggressive Mary Baskerville early in this first quarter.
Baskerville's been doing a much better job as of late of being able to stay on the floor, and one of the biggest reasons has been limiting what they call the silly fouls. She's done a nice job of that, had 19 points, 8 rebounds against Creighton in their last outing, and continues to lead the team in scoring. She has done so all season long.
Such a high ceiling on this 6'3" sophomore, and you're right, if she can get those minutes up, her productivity is certainly going to increase accordingly.
Seton Hall now the other way. Lewis around for Park Lane. Park Lane continues to handle, gets around Webb, and had it stolen away though. Friars with another steal. However, a traveling violation that time. Little happy feet out of Widmeyer.
You know, initially, good decision by Webb. You want to push it when nothing's there. There were no numbers. She tried to slow it down. A little bit of indecision by Widmeyer, and that's those turnovers you're talking about, Mike. You're trying to beat a team ahead of you in the standings. You've got to take care of the ball.
Last outing between these two teams. Not a good one for the Friars. In fact, the Friars are already with more points here in the first quarter than they had the entire first quarter. Now, Seton Hall had raced out to a 22-5 lead about a month ago.
Well, it was a 97-55 victory. A real outlier, out of character defeat for the Providence Friars that are known for really keeping it close with opponents. Seton Hall played very well, and Providence only shot the ball 21% in that first half and really dug a big hole.
It was really the defense that Coach Crowley said cost them in that one. Said it was virtually non-existent at times as the three ball comes down from Alexis Lewis, and the lead to the Pirates for the first time today. Nearing the midpoint of this first quarter, Geary trying to get Baskerville in motion as the two bigs go to work. Baskerville on the inside, up strong, and able to draw contact once again. This time, it's with Alexia Alesh.
Yeah, that's really good spacing by the Friars, and because of the three-point shooting threats, that gives Baskerville that one-on-one opportunity. Let's watch to see if the Pirates make an adjustment and send somebody down to help out on the talented sophomore.
One of the things Coach Bozzella did talk to us about, that he wasn't as concerned with Baskerville having a big game. Figures she's going to get probably those 10 to 20 points, but they really wanted to focus and lock in on that perimeter defense today. He didn't want to see any threes from Kayla Webb, Widmeyer, or Kira Spiewak, who's about to check in.
Yeah, great respect from both of these programs, mutual respect. Coach Bozzella said he really did not have any concerns with the Pirates coming in against a Providence opponent, even though they beat him handily the first time. Tribute to his team and their maturity, not to take anybody lightly, and they certainly have their hands full right now.
Wild off-balance shot from Lewis won't go, and now the Friars a chance to regain the lead. Geary trying to take it inside the paint, had to pull up her dribble, now gets it outside, nearly a 3-second call. The kick out now, Widmeyer, she'll pump up the three, left it a little bit short, and here comes Park Lane with some pace. From the outside, that one no good from Barbara Johnson. One of those spark plugs off the bench. Park Lane with the take off the glass and in. Silky smooth out of Lauren Park Lane, the freshman from Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow, great fundamentals. The shot fake got Geary up in the air. Nobody rotated to stop the basketball. Nice finish by the rookie.
Geary now will leave it outside for Widmeyer. Trying to take Lewis. Geary on the outside to the corner. It goes now for Scott. Arlette Scott sealed off nicely that time by Maya Jackson. Down to 3 on the shot clock. Scott puts up the wild three, won't go. And it'll trickle out of bounds with 4:07 left here in the first quarter. Timeout on the floor. The Pirates leading this one 10-8. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Big cities, big names, big legacies, big sisters and brothers, big ideas, big expectations, big stage, big results. That's the Big East way.
And we welcome you back to Mulaney Gym inside Alumni Hall once again. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And you might have noticed if you're watching, a lot of kids in the stands today. It's Project Providence for the 13th year in a row. And really a special day here on campus. Over 1,400 kids in attendance here today, representing schools from Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And something very near and dear to many of the people here on the PC campus.
What a great quote by Jim Crowley yesterday. When asked about it, he said, "It's flat out my favorite game of the year." He has an elementary school age daughter, but he talked about what a great opportunity to expose these students to a college campus and certainly to these great role models. He talked about thanking the administration and the marketing department for their support of the event. And they've got a real good sixth man here today, Mike.
They certainly do. It's been fun watching the players interacting with the kids during timeouts in the pregame, and that's from both sides. The Seton Hall players enjoying this as well. Here's Lauren Park Lane, one of those student athletes that really was kind of hamming it up with the kids early on, having some fun, and gets called for the double dribble that time. Wasn't too sure about it by the look on her face. And that'll go down as another turnover for the Pirates, their 4th of the day. Chanel Williams back on the court for the first time in a couple weeks. Missed last week's game with Creighton due to the flu. And it's kind of on a limited pitch count here today. We'll see how many minutes she's able to give Coach Crowley and his Friars. Here's Williams in the paint. Leaves it off for Baskerville. Soft touch, won't go. Samuels the easy rebound. And she'll race it up the floor.
Pirates tightening things up at the defensive end. Coach Pizzella talked about ball pressure, trying to speed Providence up.
A big offensive rebound that time. Alexis Lewis crashing the boards off the miss from Barbara Johnson.
Great job by Lewis, coming off a career-high 28 points last Friday night against Marquette. Started to shoot the ball well in this first quarter.
Around the perimeter it goes. Now it's Kira Spiewak, sealed off. Able to get it off to Webb. Friars so far 1 for 3 from three-point land, but haven't really had a lot of opportunities to shoot the three ball. There's Williams at the buzzer. And the rebound, going to have a foul on the floor. There's a couple of players crashing in for the loose ball. It looks like it's going to be charged to Mary Baskerville, and sometimes that's one of those almost silly fouls that you don't want to see if you're head coach Jim Crowley.
That's a tough break. She was really chasing that rebound, just couldn't corral it. The Pirates, again, really stifling right now. Providence certainly wants to use a lot of the clock in the possession, Mike, but you've still got to attack it downhill on the dribble, just not able to get by Seton Hall with any dribble penetration.
And they still need to get a quality shot off, even with the shot clock expiring. Friars running the floor and left wide open underneath. Alyssa Geary is Park Lane headed over to the corner, leaving the inside open, and the Friars back within 2. Now we have a foul again away from the ball. This one is going to go against Chanel Williams with some contact from behind. And that is just her first personal. Second on the Friars. Take another look there. Williams getting kind of caught behind Lauren Park Lane. Two of the quicker players in the Big East. Going head-to-head right now. Here's Lewis on the outside, over for Elmore. Nice soft touch off the glass.
Yeah, Seton Hall loves to put their forwards in almost an ISO position from that elbow area at the free throw line.
Open look for Spiewak, and that one rims out. And that's what the Friars have been looking for the first time. They were able to get that screen set.
Yeah, that was their first uncontested shot. That's a good look for Spiewak.
And Samuels, though, cool as ice, delivering the three-point bomb, and all of a sudden Seton Hall has a 7-point lead.
She had a great game in that first outing, 23 points on 9 of 11 shooting. Coach Pizzella talked about Shadeen Samuels doesn't get the credit she deserves at the defensive end. Doing a nice job on Baskerville here, but showing that three-point range.
Geary trying to fake on the outside, now gets it a little deeper. Back outside for Williams, already down to 5 on the shot clock. Baskerville, the turnaround, too strong. And the rebound to Park Lane.
Yeah, and Samuels is doing a nice job forcing Baskerville off the lane line.
Elmore, little step back, won't go. Kayla Webb taken down by Lewis. Unintentional, but still going to go down as a foul on Alexis Lewis.
They got tangled up on that rebound. Guards do a nice job. Providence really rebounds by committee. The guards being able to go in and dig out that defensive glass is really key as they try to limit the Pirates' attempts.
So just over a minute left here in the first quarter. Providence just 1 of 8 from their last 8 from the field. Geary on the inside, and she makes it happen.
Well, and that's because the two Pirate defenders went out with Spiewak. Target on that young lady's back as a three-point shooter. They both recovered to the shooter that left Geary wide open. Good recognition.
Spiewak fighting for the rebound. This will be critical. Who are they going to get the foul on? Is it going to go against 10? Oh, nope. They're going to give it to Femi Funis. the sophomore from Plantation, Florida, who had just checked in. And a nice hustle rebound that time from Kira Spiewak. Andrea Cooper in for the first time today now for the Friars. We've got about an 8-second differential between the two clocks. We'll see how deep the Friars take this possession. They'll spread the floor out wide. Geary, Spiewak, Cooper, and Widmeyer, along with Chanel Williams.
Yeah, more of a 5-out look with Baskerville on the bench.
They go to Geary, trying to take Elmore, and Elmore's going to get whistled for the foul. On a nice take there from Alyssa Geary.
Geary's really worked on her low post moves. We've seen her throw a variety of different pivots. That time really baited Elmore into that foul.
And as you mentioned, with Mary Baskerville on the bench, Geary out there as the lone big, but Coach Crowley's had to get more creative and getting some rest for Mary Baskerville, as she's been able to do a better job of staying out of foul trouble, earning her more minutes, but got to find those moments to get her some rest at the end of quarters, off of media timeouts, and that's, I think, what they're doing right now as we get closer and closer to this first intermission.
You only have the luxury of doing that, though, if you're in the ball game. So Providence, a good first quarter. Certainly a long way to go in the basketball game, but they are playing with this talented Seton Hall squad early.
They're going to need to stop here, though, to keep it at a 4-point margin, and nearly got it as Park Lane got a little bit out of control there, and they will bring back in Shadeen Samuels to try and take care of business with 7.2 seconds left here in the first quarter.
Andrea Cooper going to have the matchup against Samuels. Cooper, an undersized post player, really provides good depth on that front line for Coach Crowley.
You knew where the ball was going. It goes right there, and that should be an offensive foul. Samuels just ran right over Cooper, but credit Cooper for holding her ground.
A little more mobility out of Cooper than Baskerville and Geary. That time she beat Samuels to the spot. And again, that's one of those momentum builders.
Well, and it's also her second foul of the day.
That's
so
big.
Decision time for Coach Bozzella for the second quarter that's upcoming on how long he could keep Samuels on the bench. Final 3 seconds. Williams trying to get the shot off, and that'll do it for the first quarter. It's Seton Hall leading 17-13. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on Big East Digital Network.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go strong. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker, and right now the Pirates out to a 4-point margin, a whole different feel than what we saw in the first matchup between these two. And coming into this game, the Pirates with some very noteworthy numbers, and you know they've been on point defensively 9 times this season, have held opponents to 60 points or less. Obviously, you know, they've they've exceeded their win total from a season ago in terms of Big East wins as well, and just have really leaned upon some of their leaders like Shadeen Samuels.
Well, it starts with Shadeen Samuels, but this is a deep, physical, athletic Seton Hall Pirates squad. They've actually held 6 teams to under 50 points this year, Mike, so it really starts on the defensive end. They talk about steals and turning that energy into offense, and we can see at times in that first quarter where Seton Hall really shut down the Providence attack. The Friars trying to find some openings in this talented Pirates defensive squad. We'll see what happens in this second quarter.
So Samuels, who averages about 30 minutes per game, will have to start this quarter on the bench with the 2 personals. We'll see how long Seton Hall can go without her as the Friars get the first crack on the offensive end. And the fight for the rebound leads to a foul on Andrea Cooper as she battled with Elmore.
And coming out of the second quarter, you can see the adjustment by Coach Bozzella, sending the second defender to dig down on that post player.
Well, again, I think their practice was geared so much towards stopping everything on the perimeter, and Providence kind of exploiting that in the first quarter.
Yeah, zone look out of the Friars, too. Both coaches mixing it up coming out of the break.
Yeah, an important game for both teams. We talk about the Big East tournament picture. From the outside, that one is good. Maya Jackson, the talented freshman from Ohio.
Great offensive possession. Recognition of the zone, good spacing, ball reversal, extra pass to an open 3.
Widmeyer and the Friars trying to respond. Andrea Cooper slings it on over. Here is Geary for 3. And a little bit too strong, easily handled by Johnson. Johnson, the transfer from Ole Miss, sets up on the outside and hits another 3 ball. 5th 3-pointer of the game now for the Pirates.
Pirates made 10 3-point shots against Georgetown earlier this year, so we know they have firepower. Barbara Johnson, one of the players Coach Bozzella talked to us about that he was really expecting to contribute today.
Well, they made 14 threes against the Friars in the first meeting. That 42-point victory down in New Jersey. Here's Williams on the inside, the take, left it short. Back the other way quickly in transition. Johnson all the way down and in. Has a late foul on the Friars and a chance for a 3-point play.
Acrobatic move by Johnson right down the key. She got by Geary, just able to squeeze that ball up off the backboard.
And a timeout called by head coach Jim Crowley. He needs to talk things over. Coach Bozzella at center court. He's fired up. Timeout on the floor as well. Will step aside with 8:16 left here in the second quarter. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, where Seton Hall Pirates have raced out to a 12-point lead. And again, we've talked about the importance of this game with the Big East tournament looming in just a couple of weeks. It'll be held at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago for the 3rd straight year, March 6th through 9th. You can make sure to get your tickets now on bigeast.com/WBB tickets. It should be another fantastic tournament.
It's going to be a great tournament. The Pirates fighting for that positioning. Providence pretty locked into that first day of competition, and we're seeing the Pirates right now, Mike, on a mini 8-0 run in this second quarter.
Yeah, it's almost like the Friars are getting into the danger zone right here. Don't want this one to get too far out of hand. A chance now to double up the Friars. Here is Johnson at the line. And that one off the mark, so the Friars catch a mini break as Erlette Scott works it up the floor. Around it comes now for Cooper. Baskerville back in there. Spiewak on the outside. Widmeyer getting the handoff. To the corner it goes. Cooper. Widmeyer got the defender moving. Long range jumper won't go. And I think coming down underneath her slightly was Elmore. And they're going to get Elmore for the foul. We're going to send it on over to the third member of our team, Megan Caffrey, for a quick update.
Well, thanks, Mike. Pam mentioned that Seton Hall has gotten the first 8 points in this quarter, and in that timeout that head coach Jim Crowley called for the Providence Fire, that he used that as a reset, telling his team to calm down on defense, saying that we have to get stops. Right now, Seton Hall came out playing a little bit harder than the Friars in the first minutes of this quarter, so Coach Crowley wants his team to resettle and up the pace.
Thank you, Megan. And yes, Pam, I think we were talking about that a little bit off air. Is, you know, Friars got to figure out a way to kind of hit that reset button, get things going in the right direction.
Yeah, we've heard Coach Crowley say when we're not making shots, we got to really grind it out on the defensive end. Eventually the ball's going to fall. It's exactly great point by Megan inside the huddle.
Work it inside, and we're going to have a travel that time on Femi Funis, with Baskerville kind of looming right there to make the block.
Yeah, and that time Baskerville stayed straight up in the air, created the travel. That would have been a big foul on Baskerville early in the second quarter.
And again, for Seton Hall fans wondering where Shadeen Samuels, well, she's on the bench right now with 2 fouls and has been since the final seconds of the first quarter. And with the double-digit lead, they could afford to have her there for a little bit longer as Widmeyer comes curling over, steps back for 3. Left it oh so short that time. The rebound into the hands of Funis.
And the Pirates are really locked into the scouting report. They know Cooper is not a three-point threat. They're not guarding her beyond the arc.
And a foul away from the ball. And I think they're going to get this one on Baskerville. And indeed it is. So that'll be her second personal. And Coach Crowley looking for an explanation, saying there's a whole lot of contact down there, and you're going to call that. And that's the way it goes sometimes, so Baskerville picks up her second. So 2 of the big stars in this one, both on the bench now. We'll see how long for both Baskerville and Samuels of the Pirates. Around comes Lewis, working against Widmeyer. The dump in now for Elmore. Elmore trying to shake past Cooper. Puts it up, won't go, and the whistle's coming fast and furious here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and speaking of the scouting report, Elmore's the lefty, so you want to jump on that side as soon as she squares up. Cooper just out of position that time, picks up the foul.
And Coach Crowley having to go a little bit deeper on the bench now, brings in the freshman out of Brooklyn, Heaven Bristow. Has seen action in most of the games this year. This is her 22nd appearance. As Elmore knocks it down. Fans here being urged to make some noise, and they are certainly doing that, and then some. But Elmore blocking it all out, hits both.
What a nice stroke. Second leading scorer. Shoots the ball 47% from the floor.
And over 75% from the line as well. So Friars now back down by 12. As Kayla Webb looks for Widmeyer. Diving play from Lewis, and Widmeyer rejected by Elmore. Elmore, the team leader in blocks, now has 25 on the season after that rejection. Trying to cut inside, Jackson. Elmore now the kick out back for Maya Jackson. Puts it up under some pressure, won't go, and Bristow a run in there that time as Funis came crashing into her.
The Pirates' depth and physicality starting to be a factor at both ends. You've got to be strong going to the basket. That time Widmeyer had a good look.
Well, and talking to Coach Crowley yesterday, he mentioned specifically one of the key points for this one, match the physical play of Seton Hall. And Friars did a nice job of that in the first quarter, but Seton Hall stepped it up a notch here in the second. Bristow, the tricky move behind the back, and they're going to get a blocking foul after both referees looked at each other.
Yeah, Coach Crowley really high on the 6'1" freshman from New York. She's physical, she's got good size. Tremendous scorer in high school. She averaged a 20-point double-double, 24 points, 20 rebounds a game in high school, so she can certainly produce. Still working into the college game as a freshman, but high hopes for Heaven Bristow.
Well, certainly had her moments on the floor for sure this season. Now a chance to cut the lead back down to 10. And the first one a little bit too strong. Spiewak back out there once again for the Friars. So perimeter threats with Webb and Spiewak, and Geary, of course, can knock him down from the outside as well. Second one is good. Makes it an 11-point margin.
Zone
Jackson.
defense against.
Jackson now swings it on over for Lewis, picked up by Webb. Little floater won't go, and Geary there for the rebound. Scott quickly the other way. Bristow curling around the screen from Geary, now leaves it off for Spiewak. Poked out of bounds by Johnson. And it looks like Seton Hall will bring Jasmine Smith into the game for the first time today.
Pirates are really extending on the perimeter. You want to get downhill and really try to dribble penetrate.
Down to 15 on the shot clock for the Friars. Geary keeping it on the floor. Trying to take Samuels. Puts it up, and that one won't go. Samuels there to outmuscle Scott for the rebound. So we wondered how long it would take for Scott or for Samuels to get back out on the floor. Took about 4.5 minutes of game time. Quick jumper that time is good. Nice quick shot out of Barbara Johnson.
Coach Bozzella said Barbara Johnson's been battling a little illness. Happy to have her back. Good contributions in this second quarter.
The largest lead of the day for the Pirates at 13. There's Kayla Webb. Quarterbacking this Providence offense, leaves it out for Scott. Screen set by Bristow as Scott tries to force her way in. Too strong off the window. And here come the Pirates once again. From the outside, Jackson won't go. And Webb now pushing it forward. Scott looks for that lane to the hoop. Blocked down by Johnson, who got a piece of it. And it looks like Seton Hall will bring back in Lauren Park Lane.
Not many easy looks right now at all for Providence. Credit the Seton Hall defensive effort.
Just 3 points for Providence here in the second quarter. They've been outscored 12-3 in finding themselves down by 13.
Yeah, Kayla Webb, one of the best scorers on the Friar squad, just not able to get any shots off.
Geary leaving that one short, and it seems to be a common theme today. The Friars just leaving a lot of shots short. Park Lane now on the perimeter, working against Spiewak. As it comes around the outside, won't go for Johnson. And Bristow able to keep it alive for Providence. Webb now looks to Coach Crowley for the next play. She'll work it up against Jackson. Bristow back to Webb in the corner, trying to get down the baseline. Outside for Geary. Scott puts up the three, and again, too strong. Spiewak hammered from behind. Keeps on trucking, and in and one for Kira Spiewak.
That's a creative finish, because if she would have stayed on the same side of the basket, Mike, that shot would have been blocked. Spiewak, really good stick-to-itiveness there.
So second chance points that time for the Friars as Spiewak able to convert underneath.
That's a great step through. Reverse layup.
Now a chance again to make it a 10-point game. And she does. Seton Hall will bring back in Alexia Alesh. And now we'll try to get it done on the defensive end.
Well, they certainly have the crowd support on this defensive stop.
Here's Samuels out high, poked away by Webb, and that'll come all the way near us. With 3:24 left in the second quarter.
Well, it's a gamble by Bozzella. You know, Samuels plays so aggressively at both ends of the court. Coach Bozzella showing a lot of trust in his senior.
And they get it to her, out high. Johnson looking inside for Alesh, rejected by Bristow. Solid defense that time out of the freshman, able to avoid the foul. 1 second on the shot clock. Samuels looking for the quick shot, got a shot off, it wouldn't go. Now Scott, and we'll see if they attack Samuels once again. Bristow going right at her, and Samuels forced to leave her alone, but Bristow unable to convert. Down in a hurry, Johnson lost the handle, and here comes Scott the other way. Erlet Scott right to the rack and in. Got right around Alesh.
Yeah, good take by Scott.
Coach Bozzella not happy perhaps with some of the effort there on defense. He calls timeout. We'll of course keep it here with 2:45 left in this second quarter, and the Friars starting to chip away at that lead. We saw it as high as 13, now down to a much more manageable 8.
Yeah, defensive stops, able to get out and run. Couple transition baskets for a Friars squad, which has really struggled to find some offensive flow. And again, credit the Pirates. They've really locked them up. Great ball pressure and really have kept the dribble in front. But we're seeing some life out of this Providence squad, and it certainly brought the crowd back into this basketball game.
And it started on the defensive end. We've seen some great play. Heaven Bristow coming up with a big block down there, the rejection. I mean, they've held Seton Hall to 0 points over the last 2 minutes and 33 seconds. As that gap starting to shorten quite a bit. Seton Hall had been outscoring Providence 12-3. Now it's at 12-8 for the quarter. For the Friars, an opportunity here to close out the half with some positive momentum. And I'm sure they would love to try to get Samuels that third foul. Samuels a kick out high for Jackson, around now for Park Lane.
And the zone's been effective. Providence primarily a man-to-man defensive team.
Samuels loses the handle, nearly grabbed Kayla Webb. Webb now across for Spiewak, 3 ball, won't go. Rebound to Cooper. Webb for 3, got it!
Well, it's a rare second chance opportunity. The Pirates a little casual, getting back in transition defense that time.
Friars with the home cooking home crowd today, using it to their advantage. We'll see how the Pirates respond. Park Lane won't go. And Erlet Scott, another rebound, has Webb wide open. Never saw her. The Friars in the midst of an 8-0 run here with 2 minutes to go. Erlet Scott now will hold up Webb. And now Bristow. As the Friars get into their set, Scott feeling it for 3, won't go. And a foul on Cooper. She tried to get a handle on that rebound, doing battle with Alexia Alesh.
Yeah, Scott's a little bit winded. Coach Crowley going to give her a break. I didn't think she had her legs for that shot, but momentum's such a funny thing, isn't it? You can see Pirates in total command, and then great spurtability out of Providence. Great response as the Pirates started to stretch the lead.
Yeah, and that last 3-point attempt from Scott, there was still about 12 seconds on the shot clock. And I think that's why he was chatting with Scott. Coach Crowley wondering how it got to be free throws, and that's because it was the 5th foul on the Friars. So Alesh, a chance to make it a 7-point lead. Calmly sinks the 2 free throws. And with 95 seconds left, the Friars go to work once again on the offensive end. Chanel Williams running the point this time. That's Webb just being shadowed everywhere by Park Lane. Doing everything she can to get freed up. Here is Williams. Leaves it out for Cooper. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Williams now. Little jump step in the lane, won't go. And the rebound to Lewis. A big stop that time for Seton Hall. Alesh now for Lewis, and around it comes for Jackson. Park Lane will hold. And she works it across.
Trying to set Barbara Johnson up. Sorry, Mike.
Park Lane once again looking inside for Lesh. Poked away, but the Friars couldn't control it. Park Lane now the floater, and what a shot there.
How about that? Saw a little crease. It's one of the ways to break down a zone defense.
7-second differential here between the game clock and the shot clock. Friars down by 9. It'll stay that way after Webb shot a little bit short. Shot clock off here for the final 18 seconds.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, quick into that shot clock. Coach Crowley talked about that, really plays into the Pirates' hands.
Big moment here. Seton Hall up by 9. Webb got her hands on it, but again, couldn't quite control. Friars gonna have to play D for about 7 more seconds. Big difference mentally between a single-digit lead and a double-digit lead. Park Lane looking for Alesh. Tough handle, rejected at the buzzer. Heaven Bristow for the second time today coming up with a big block on the baseline. And with that, we'll head into the halftime intermission. Seton Hall up by 9. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
And welcome back once again to Friartown. At the half, Seton Hall out to a 9-point lead. But time to take a look back at the week that was in Big East women's basketball action. We'll start with last week's Player of the Week. And really, with so many choices out there, one player stood out amongst the rest. That was Creighton's Jalen Agnew. Went off for 38 points right here in Friartown. And it was a big reason the Blue Jays came out with the win. And of course, it seems like they don't even have to replace the graphic every week. It's Maddie Siegrist of Villanova. Once again, she's got to be your clear-cut favorite right now for the Big East Freshman of the Year. Of course, in addition to those two, a bunch of players on the Big East honor roll as well. And again, the familiar names, seems like we see them almost every week. Kristen Spolier out of Butler. Of course, Mary Gadeka from Villanova, and Shadeen Samuels, who we're watching here today. Not having one of her best games, but still having an impact on this one.
Big impact here, and certainly Shantae Stonewell, such a big reason. You know, DePaul has great depth, but that young lady, such an amazing career for Coach Doug Bruno.
And of course, recently named to the Nancy Lieberman Point Guard of the Year candidates, Kelly Campbell of DePaul. And what doesn't she do for the Blue Demons?
She's done it since she's gotten the ball as a freshman. She rebounds the ball, great scorer, great leader. What a tribute to her to be in that company.
Absolutely. So with that, we'll step aside once again, and we'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Providence. Big East Fast Break is the weekly women's basketball show hosted by our own Megan Caffrey and Ashley Liotis, breaking down everything in Big East women's hoops. You can catch all new episodes of Fast Break during the season every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. on the Big East Twitter and YouTube pages. And of course, with Valentine's Day today, Megan and Ashley were able to spread some love across the Big East.
Decided to spread the love for Valentine's Day that's coming up. We looked around the league, and here are some of the Valentines that we have. My first one is going to go to the Seton Hall freshman guards, Lauren Park Lane and Maya Jackson. Lauren starts for the Pirates, and she is just this little engine that goes. She provides such a spark. And then Maya Jackson, she leads the team in three-pointers. And what's more, she really hits triples when it matters. She had 3 3-pointers in the Pirates game against DePaul, and then I think you go all the way back to UConn. She had 5 3-pointers in this game. Little girl, big-time shots.
And my first pick, spreading the love around the league, I'm going to go with Shantae Stonewall. We heard from her earlier in the show, but I was with her for both games this weekend as they made their way into New York. And on Sunday, she had a career high of 29 points, a double-double with 10 rebounds as well. And she's just been lights out. She had 24 points in the first half alone. Really helped her team on Friday as well make that win, that big push for the win against St. John. And I was actually talking to her a little bit off camera on Sunday and just about some of her career highs. And even her sports information director said, oh yeah, that was a career high, that was a career high, that was a career high. All of these taking place on Sunday. So lots of love going out to her because she had a lights out performance this weekend.
Although the Providence Friars record doesn't show it, this Friars team has a fight in them. You looked at their game most recently against Creighton. They were down just 5 at the half. Then into the third quarter, they cut their deficit from double digits to single digits. This Friars team, they are young, but they have a fight in them. Their last 5 games, here's a nugget for how young they are. In the Friars' last 5 games, their starting lineup has been all underclassmen. They are young, they have a fight in them, and they are showing that.
And finally, spreading the love around the league, we got to end with some puppy love. Oh, yeah, I am talking about Butler Blue the Fourth. We saw him a little bit on camera. He got some screen time earlier this weekend. I think we have a little bit of that video to share with you. There he is. Are you kidding me? Look at that face. Oh, my gosh. He is so precious. He is just so cute, Megan. Like I said, he is in the training right now. So if you go on some of his social media, he is in puppy training. Actually, they're going to be passing the collar to him. Butler III passing the collar to him. That's happening at Hinkle Fieldhouse on February 29th. They're asking everyone to wear white in support of passing the collar. But Butler III, we thank you for all of your hard work. And Butler IV, almost out of puppy school, I think. And he's ready to go. He looks well trained. He looked like it there.
I don't think I've ever been more jealous before in my life than when I was watching John Fanta and Kim Adams, who were on the call for Butler's game on Sunday, with the selfies that they had with the puppy. I was just like, I wish I was there right now.
I would have just let him lay in my lap and call the game. That's it. That's all you need.
Feeding treats all throughout the game.
Exactly.
Now let's take.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome once again back to Friartown, where we are at the break. And over the course of the last couple of weeks, the Butler Bulldogs have been on fire. They've started the 2020 portion of their campaign with a 9-1 record and have moved into second place in the Big East standings. Earlier this week on Fast Break, Megan Caffrey caught up with Kristen Smolyer and Umu Torre to hear what has been working for the Dogs.
Butler Bulldogs went 2-0 this weekend, moving into sole possession of second place in Big East standings at 9-3 in conference play, as I'm now joined by guards senior Kristen Smolyer and freshman Umu Torre. Since the start of 2020, your team has won 8 of your last 9, including a 5-game win streak. What has your team been doing so well together during this stretch?
I just think that, like, after our 2 losses that we took right before the end of the year, we sat there and we had a meeting so we could reevaluate ourselves and the team. This is coming from, like, the coaches all the way down to the players, coming from the starters to the bench people. It's just everyone, our entire staff. We had to sit there and just be like, what do we need to do to get better? So then after we had that meeting, we went on and had good practices, and then that's led us to what our record is now.
Kristen, you scored 25 points in your team's win over Villanova. However, in the game prior to that, you scored 9 points. You did say after win on Sunday that that's the key to this team, that you don't have to do it all every night. What is this team's offense able to do that allows everyone to get production?
Well, I think it's just it's key that everybody on our team has the ability to score. Whether you see that on any given night or not, they do, and that's all the way from all of our starters to our bench. Everybody can score the basketball, and I think our offense allows everybody to be in position to take good shots. And like I said, I don't have to do it all, and that's really key for us to win, is that we're going to have 4 people in double-digit scoring, and that's really what I think has led to some of our success.
Umu, as a freshman, you're in the top 5 in scoring on your team. At what point this season have you really felt your confidence come on?
I feel like after the first few games, I was a little nervous because it's a new experience playing college ball, and like I've just watched my sisters play. But like I just got comfortable with everybody, with everything.
Kristen, as a senior on this team, how have you taken Umu under your wing a little bit to help her grow her confidence?
I think I really just expressed like how much like confidence we all have in her, and that we really need her to be successful on this team. And so I think that after she's like learned some of the plays and stuff, she's got more comfortable with everybody and in the plays. And so I think that is just really has led to her confidence and her ability to show everybody what she is capable of. And we all knew that she had it. And I just want to be more of like a mentor and a positive leader. So that's just really what I've tried to be this year.
Your team has the best scoring defense in the league, allowing 58.7 points per game. What is this team able to do so well defensively to limit your opponent's shots?
I mean, we just get up and we really scramble for the ball, and we're really aggressive, and that just goes back to practice. We always, half of our practice is always defense, and so we're always working on that, and just having the mindset that we're going to lock people down defensively, and we're going to stick to our principles, and hoping that will translate to offense.
You guys are going to be on the road this weekend, so what is something that you take onto the road that you're going to be doing?
I don't know if I really have any pregame rituals.
Is there a certain song that you like to listen pregame?
I have a pregame playlist, so I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a ritual, but like other than that, I mean, normally like French toast, some like strawberries in the morning, but other than that, not really. Don't have a ritual.
How about you, Kristen?
I don't really have one either. Usually on the road, we'll get to breakfast, we'll watch a little bit of film, and then I'll go back and lay down for a little bit, watch TV or whatever that may be, and then get ready to go to the gym.
The keys to success. Kristen and Umu, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Of course, just a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And Pam, time to take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Sophia Widmeyer leading the charge for the Friars early on, as Friars had the hot hand. Seton Hall would respond, however, quickly with Alesh from the outside. One of the 5 made three-pointers for the Pirates in the first half. Alyssa Geary would work it into Baskerville and then get it on the outside and pump in one of her three-pointers for Friars.
And the Pirates, the freshman Park Lane. She's the motor. Showed a great ability to not only distribute the basketball, as you can see on that great assist to Shadeen Samuels. Pirates 5 for 12 from beyond the arc in that first half. A lot of balanced scoring, and Spiewak, we talked about her ability to score the basketball. Good recognition, 3 points for Kira Spiewak. And how about Heaven Bristow off the bench? 2 B blocks. And then Kayla Webb from 3. Friars are going to need to see more of that, Mike.
As we take a look at some of the stats from the first half, and really the thing that's bothering the Friars is just their shooting, just 7 of 31 from the field. Everything else, the Friars have been doing a really nice job of taking care of the basketball. And now we're going to send it on over to Megan Caffrey for another update.
Thanks, Mike. Seton Hall head coach Tony Pizzella was pleased with his team's defense in the first half, saying his team held Providence to just 2 3-pointers in the first half. Offensively, however, Coach Pizzella needs to see more from Shadeen Samuels and Alexis Lewis, both with just 5 points in the first half. As for Providence, head coach Jim Crowley was pleased with his team's ability to turn the ball over down the stretch. He did say, however, on offense, he needs to see his team move the ball better. He said, we're allowing Seton Hall to play pretty stagnant defense.
And thank you, Megan. And Pam, we had a look after some of the numbers earlier, but really what stood out to me, only 4 turnovers for the Friars, just 8 for Seton Hall. Both teams doing a nice job taking care of the basketball, but again, the perimeter defense by Seton Hall, one of their keys, one of their points of emphasis. They held the Friars to just 2 of 12 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and only 23% shooting in the first quarter, so you could argue to be under double digits in terms of being behind. That's a pretty good position to be in when you've had some struggles putting the ball in the basket.
So 9-point edge here for the Pirates heading into this third quarter. Of course, Seton Hall in those royal blues with white numerals going from left to right here in the second half. As they work it to Samuels, does have the 2 personals and was able to draw contact as Erlette Scott called for the foul that time.
Megan talked about the 2 stars being held in check pretty well. Samuels only 5 first half points. Baskerville limited to 3. This can be a way to get involved in a basketball game. You saw Samuels try to put the ball on the floor and attack early.
And even with the 2 personals, Samuels only missing a little less than 4 minutes of the first half, or excuse me, a little less than 5 minutes. As Coach Pizzella able to maximize that time. They never relinquished the lead. Baskerville the rebound off the miss from Samuels, and now the Friars down by 10, trying to stay in this one. Erlette Scott picked up by Samuels outside. They look to Geary. Now inside to Baskerville, and she was clobbered from behind by Alesh.
And that was a different look offensively that time, absolutely geared to try to get Baskerville in a one-on-one situation down low.
So that'll be the second personal on Alesh. As they go to Baskerville, inside, outside go the Friars. Here's Scott trying to work on Samuels. Geary skips it over for Baskerville. Skips it right back over for Scott. She'll drive it inside, and what a nice take by Erlette Scott.
Yeah, she's strong. Looked like she had the 3-pointer. Little up fake created that space. Good explosive step to the rim.
Park Lane with the answer, and she'll do it easily as she just blew past everybody. Kayla Webb wondering where was the help.
You don't see that very often against a Providence defense. They really protect the paint first and foremost.
So it stays at a 10-point edge here for Seton Hall. Webb trying to get around Park Lane. Widmeyer now and Geary. Baskerville up high, a little turnaround off the glass and good.
How about Baskerville going up to catch that pass
Friars have had a lot of success this season. Those high passes, Geary to Baskerville. A nice combination when they're both able to be on the floor for Coach Crowley.
And an early strategy coming out of the half.
Park Lane able to blow past the defense once again. And she has come out swinging here in the second half.
Yeah, we can see both coaches picked up something, right? Get Baskerville involved offensively, and Park Lane maybe deciding they can't handle her off the bounce.
Geary now, keeping it up high. Looks inside for Baskerville, maybe a little too high, but Baskerville able to regroup. Widmeyer didn't pull the trigger, now takes it up, a little too strong, and Elmore comes away with it. Pirates running the floor with Park Lane now. Inside, Samuels. Elmore now, caught deep, but here comes Alesh, and the foul. Geary not happy, but strong take from Alexia Alesh. And the Pirates starting to pick up some momentum.
Alesh, redshirt sophomore, saw an opening. Great movement without the basketball.
It looks like Coach Crowley's going to call timeout to talk things over, get this defense back in order. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Providence. It's a big day this Valentine's Day on the Big East Digital Network. As we take a look at some of the remaining games today, highlighted really that DePaul Butler game, a huge one coming up tonight.
Pivotal in the standings. Every game so important down the stretch run as these teams fight for positioning. We know the coaches want to do everything possible to avoid playing that first day of the tournament.
Friars nearly turn it over. Spiewak, though, able to get the handle back. Geary on the outside. Baskerville trying to post up, and they're going to get her for an offensive foul. Coach Crowley pretty much beside himself as, again, a ton of contact on the inside. For the Friars, that's a tough one. The third on Mary Baskerville.
She's going to have to play smart. Friars in a zone.
We'll see if Seton Hall tries to attack Baskerville on this possession. If they can, they go to Samuels on the inside. Here's Elmore. Long-range jumper and cans it.
Yeah, great footwork. Again, nice job on the up fake. Both these teams a little over-aggressive. Got Widmeyer up in the air. Just such a great score, Desiree Elmore.
7-0 run by the Pirates over the last minute and a half. extend this lead out to 15. Matches their largest of the day. Friars in that critical zone right now. As Geary with the left hand able to bank it in.
Yeah, tough shot. And again, you can see the Pirates knowing the scouting report. Baskerville not a threat from the three-point line.
Park Lane now delivers it over to Alesh. Here's Lewis, who's been relatively quiet. Gets called for the travel. And that'll let the Friars get Heaven Bristow back in. They're going to pull Baskerville off for now. Again, with the under 5 coming up in just a minute or so. And Baskerville with the 3 personals as well. Get her some rest, keep her out of trouble for now.
That's a good move by Coach Crowley, and especially if Bristow can play at that same intensity and level and buy some minutes, that'll be real key for the Friars squad right now.
Geary trying to get around Alesh. Now leaves it out for Spiewak, but Park Lane right with her, and Alesh able to get a hand on the entry pass. Seton Hall now in transition. Park Lane scooted down the floor, now gets around Geary. Alesh camped out in the corner, couldn't pull the trigger. Park Lane can, won't go. Samuels knocks it out, and now the Friars are in transition. Here is Erlet Scott. He had to pull it back, allowing Seton Hall to get back. Geary for 3, left it short. And the pace quickening much to Seton Hall's pleasure. Samuels can't convert, but on the second opportunity, draws the contact.
Pirates are relentless. They're going to push tempo every opportunity. We've seen Park Lane with the ball in her hands. That time, a good look to a racing Samuels.
And that'll be the 3rd personal on Alyssa Geary. So both of the Providence bigs in some serious trouble now. And also facing a 13-point deficit with one of the best players in the league at the line. Started the day 15th all-time in Seton Hall history with over 1,100 points. Samuels coming into today.
Recently passed Gloria Bradley on that all-time scoring list.
And again, Samuels calmly steps up and gets her team back on top by 15, nearing the midway point of this 3rd quarter. Erlet Scott stared down by Samuels. Leaves it off for Cooper.
Trying to post Spiewak on the smaller Park Lane.
Scott falling down to the ground, didn't turn it over. Bristow there now. And the referees are going to talk about something. Some issue perhaps with the clock. We'll see what they wind up calling. It didn't seem as if the clock stopped at all. There shouldn't have been no reset on the shot clock either. So we'll have to wait and see what they are indeed looking at. But again, one of the officials was pointing up at the clock, trying to figure out something. And Erlet Scott was down on the floor, didn't turn it over. Bristow slid over with it while dribbling. And then they blew the whistle.
Yeah, clearly no change of possession.
And the clock didn't reset as far as I could tell. It's listed at 14 right now on the shot clock. Either way, it's kind of like an extra timeout for both coaches. And it gives Mary Baskerville a little bit more rest on the bench. Also Geary as well, as they might have a big role down the stretch, even with those 3 personals. A good time to rest here for Shadeen Samuels and the Pirates as well. Again, you can't stress the importance of this game, especially for Seton Hall, who's battling for one of those bye positions for that first round of the Big East tournament.
Coach Bozzella told us when we play our best, we feel like we can beat anybody. 6 teams, Mike, still can finish as high as 2nd, and statistically, the Pirates have the easiest schedule for the remainder of the season. This is certainly one they can't let get away, especially when they get on the road and head out to Creighton on Sunday.
Absolutely, and you look at, Butler tonight having to play DePaul. So Butler currently in 2nd at 9-3. They could fall to 9-4 should the chalk hold and they lose that game. Seton Hall, if they pick up the win, they'll be at 9-5, and then we'll see what Marquette does as well. So a whole lot of movement between now and the end of the regular season possible. And again, Butler could drop down all the way to 7 if they wind up losing all their games, which they most likely won't. But there's just so much movement possible between those 2nd through 7th slots.
So many different scenarios, and you're looking at a Seton Hall squad that really played DePaul down to the wire last Sunday. I mean, they were right in the contest.
So it looks like they've put the shot clock down to 9. So perhaps they hit the reset to 20. Either way, it'll still be Providence ball. And now the game clock has been moved down as well. So we'll see if they fix that. Because there was over 5 minutes left when they initially stopped. And now it's down to 4:58. And if so, does that take us into the media timeout? There's been no clear indication either way. But at 4:58, that should be the media here in Providence. So we'll step aside while they get things sorted out, and we'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back to Providence once again. About 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Of course, the Big East Tournament coming up in just a few short weeks out at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago for the 3rd year in a row. That first round tips off on March 6th at 11 a.m. You definitely want to be there if you can. Go to bigeast.com/WBB tickets to get yours today. And Pam, I know I can't wait. I won't be able to attend in person, but I will be watching on TV or the Big East Digital Network for sure.
Get your tickets now. It's going to be a fun 4 days. Legendary coach Doug Bruno, so proud to host that in his home city. It's going to be an exciting tournament for sure.
Shadeen Samuels coming up with a big steal, and then Erlette Scott following up with the foul. So things go from bad to worse there for the Friars. The turnover and the foul. Is this one perhaps starting to slip away a little bit from the Friars? They need to go on a bit of a run here to close out this quarter to get back in it.
Pirates in the bonus very, very early in this third stanza.
Samuels hits once again. Now 4 of 5 from the free throw line today. First player on Seton Hall to hit double figures so far this afternoon. Second one good as well, and 17-point margin, the largest of the day for the visitors. Erlette Scott and the Friars, their work cut out for them here down the stretch. Evan Bristow, as it goes around. Again, Geary and Baskerville both on the bench with 3 personals for Providence. Bristow trying to get to the rim, left it a little short after that pressure from Lewis. Park Lane leaves it outside. 3 ball from Johnson, won't go, but Park Lane there to keep it alive, and an extended possession now for Seton Hall.
Good looking freshman. She's really everywhere, real nose for the basketball.
And the turnaround will go that time for Alexis Lewis. The redshirt senior makes it a 19-point margin.
Her 7th point. Really solid score for the Pirates, and again, watch the Pirates defensively, Mike. They're really zeroed in on their scouting report. They know exactly who to extend and play on the 3-point line. Done a really nice job today. You can see both teams huddling up.
Yeah, that perimeter defense has been killer for Seton Hall today. They've limited the Friars to just 2 of 13 from beyond the arc, and only one three-pointer attempted here in the second half. Naisha Franklin checks in, and unfortunately for the Friars, immediately turns it over. And Seton Hall continuing to put the pressure on the Friars. Samuels, Alesh, now back for Samuels, around it goes for Johnson. Park Lane looking inside, Lewis. Her shot won't go. Friars, though, tip it right back to the Pirates. Here's Park Lane for three. That won't go. Alesh gets the rebound and the follow-up.
Well, you know, Franklin's the only senior on the team for this young Friars squad. The Friars really small right now. Second chance opportunities starting to mount for the Pirates. We'll see how long Coach waits with Gary and Baskerville.
Arlette Scott curling around up top with just over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Friars trying to figure out something. Here's Cooper from the wing. That won't go. Naisha Franklin cues it up for Spiewak, who can't deliver the three. Samuels gliding in for the rebound, and here comes Seton Hall.
Struggles beyond the arc continue for Providence. Only 2 for 14.
Park Lane able to tip it over to Samuels. Gets right around Widmeyer, and Widmeyer, the two hands in the back of Samuels, makes for the easiest call the officials got to make today.
Yeah, Samuels can score on all three levels. She's really made herself a triple threat. You've got to respect the three-point ability. But she's got such a big, explosive first step that time. Widmeyer, no other choice.
So Friars will bring back in Chanel Williams and Kayla Webb. Out go Scott and Widmeyer. As right now, Seton Hall in the midst of a 15-2 run over the last 5.5 minutes. Make it 16-2 after that free throw. They have outscored Providence 18-6 here in the third quarter. Spiewak trying to penetrate.
Yeah, Williams is back in the game too. Can she get into the paint and distribute the basketball?
You want to free up Spiewak for that three ball. Seton Hall not letting it happen. Here's Cooper. Lost the handle on it. She tried to get it off to Franklin. Johnson quickly down the other end. Lewis fighting for the rebound. And Samuels able to come up with it. Good hustle by the Pirates to keep this possession alive. They go inside and now outside, and they'll slow things down for a moment.
They do a great job with the offensive tip, keeping the basketball alive.
The miss from Lewis gives the Friars a chance now. Here's Spiewak for three. And again, too strong.
Spiewak's had some nice looks. Very few uncontested shots the entire game for Providence.
Talk about uncontested shots. There was one for Alesh, but she could not convert. And both teams struggling a little bit from the field over the last minute or so. Spiewak in the corner now. Williams down the lane. That one rolls off the rim, and the Friars can't get anything to drop. And here we go now, Lauren Park Lane. Surveys the scene, gives it off to Johnson, and now Samuels. Is everybody getting a touch here for the Pirates? Into the final minute of the third quarter. A dominant third quarter for the Pirates. They've outscored the Friars 19-6. Three ball now from Johnson with the shot clock expiring. An absolute dagger.
Oh, dagger and great execution, patience. Pirates continuing to run their set. Didn't settle for anything other than a great take, and now there's the steal.
With the finish, Barbara Johnson picking the pocket of Kayla Webb that time.
And we both missed football a little bit, I think. And Coach Bozzella talks about steals like that as pick sixes. That time Johnson, a great job jumping in the passing lane.
Final 10 seconds. Friars in desperate need of some points. Nearly turn it over again. Spiewak nowhere to go. Webb's going to have to hustle and leaves it well short of the basket. Seton Hall on fire here in the third quarter. As we head into the quick intermission, the Pirates leading by 27. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
And welcome back to Providence, 57-30 Pirates, as they were putting on a clinic there in the third quarter, outscoring the Friars 24-6. And just absolutely getting the job done on both ends of the floor. Three ball from Johnson there, and then the steal. And coast to coast, the pick six from Barbara Johnson. And that helped the Pirates just continue to increase this lead, and really the Friars with no answers there in the third quarter.
Yeah, Johnson, great firepower off the bench. 12 points today on 5 for 10 shooting, but this Seton Hall team has turned up the heat. And again, the rhythm of the Providence offense really off right now. No flow. Baskerville and Geary back in the game. We'll see if they can get some touches and convert early.
Geary looking for an option, goes for Baskerville. Now coming out is Williams. Arlette Scott trying to get inside the paint. Williams now once again as it comes around for Webb. Webb the jumper off the mark, collected by Elmore. And again, Seton Hall can take some time off the clock as that shooting percentage for the Friars continues to plummet.
24% right now. And they've had some looks, just not able to get the basketball to fall.
Wild shot put up that time from Jasmine Smith, as we're going to head on over to Megan Caffrey for another quick update.
Thanks, Mike. Well, after scoring just 6 points in the third quarter, Providence head coach Crowley pulled his team into that last huddle, and he was questioning them, how much do you have? You have 10 minutes left in this game, and he really challenged them, saying, how intense can you be?
And thank you, Megan. I think a lot of the Providence fans wondering that as well, as you know, they've been battling pretty hard. You can see the fight in them in that first half. Third quarter, though, things quickly just kind of spiraled out of control.
Providence team only one Big East victory, trying to win, trying to build some momentum. They've tried 10 different lineups this year as Coach Crowley looks for a combination that's going to be successful. We talked about the all-sophomore starting group right now.
There's a good take that time by Arlette Scott.
And there's a good take. That's the kind of energy he's looking for. Energy at both ends of the court. Right now, it's all out of the Seton Hall Pirates. We'll see if the Friars can turn this around in the last 10 minutes.
And remember, this is a Seton Hall team that knocked off the Friars by 42 points earlier this season. Coach Crowley was curious to see how his team would respond against them in this meeting, as Baskerville couldn't quite hold on to the rebound. And again, Lauren, Park Lane, and Seton Hall could actually slow down the pace a little bit right now.
They
They don't have to go warp speed anymore.
Yeah, they can be deliberate. You'll take the first best shot.
And again, not just that Coach Crowley was wondering how his team would respond, but Coach Bozzella also wondering how his team would respond coming off the big win, saying that was so long ago they really don't talk about it, think about it too much, and realize that on that particular night, Providence was just kind of out of sync, and they were absolutely on fire. But really here in the second half, we're seeing kind of the same thing as what we saw in that first meeting.
Yeah, they absolutely have that spurt ability, but Coach Bozzella really likes this team. He talked to us about his respect for his players and his trust in their attitude coming into this ball game, that they were going to be ready to go, and we certainly have seen that this morning into this afternoon with the 11:30 a.m. start time.
Yeah, he said it's one of the most enjoyable teams he's ever coached in his career. Just a bunch of great kids that he's been able to assemble, and just been having a lot of fun with them.
And what a nice compliment for the veteran coach.
And Geary looking inside for Baskerville. The kick outside again for Geary. This time she'll bring it in a little bit closer. The floater won't go. And scooting away with it that time was Maya Jackson. Park Lane now. Well, direct traffic here for the Pirates as they just kind of work it around the perimeter before going inside for Elmore.
Yeah, it's going to be a real gut check time for this young Providence Friars squad. Got to stay resilient, got to stay tough, keep grinding it out on this end, try to limit Seton Hall to one shot.
A lot of contact that time as Park Lane kind of went into Williams, but they're going to get Williams for the lock.
Yeah, Park Lane small in stature, but she's fearless. Again, a real motor. It's our first opportunity to see her in person. Really confident as a rookie.
Now in for the Friars, Fatima Lee. First time we've seen her today. Jumper from Jackson off the mark, collected by Geary. Baskerville really running the floor that time, getting that pass high from Geary. Little turnaround, won't go. And Baskerville's tough day continues with only 5 points. Park Lane, leave it off now, Alesh, and around it comes. Back to Park Lane. Alesh looking inside for Elmore. And Elmore lays it up and in for another bucket. And Seton Hall able to do all this with Shadeen Samuels on the bench as well. With a big lead now, 30 points for Seton Hall.
And one of the things the Pirates have really relied on this year is balanced scoring. We're seeing it again today. 4 in double figures. They spread the basketball around. They're really unselfish, Mike, as they push tempo and work the basketball around in a half-court setting. And we've seen the Pirates be, pretty dominant defensively as well today.
Erlett Scott earning a trip to the line. Yeah, on the other side for Providence, only one player in double figures. It's Alyssa Geary with 10 points. The next closest is Scott with 7. Make it 8 now for the sophomore. As the Pirates will bring Femi Funes back in. Out goes Alesh. And again, kind of a luxury here for Coach Bozzella to rest some of his key players. The big trip back out to Creighton now for their Sunday matchup. Of course, one of the toughest trips in the league, the Providence-Creighton weekend. What helps them out a little bit when they get the morning start, though, here in Providence. That's another easy take that time, maybe too easy for Desiree Elmore.
Yes, accountability on the defensive end. Coach Crowley's been preaching that on both ends, offensively taking care of the basketball and defensively really being responsible and accountable for doing your job. That is just way too easy for Desiree Elmore.
Turnaround from Geary goes. 12 now for her.
Friars can't afford to trade baskets, so they're going to need some stops.
Again, Providence 0 for 4 from the perimeter in the second half as they have been locked down by that stifling perimeter defense of the Pirates. And that was the emphasis all week for Coach Bozzella and his side. Stop the Friars on the perimeter, and they've done that and then some here today.
Yeah, I love Park Lane too on that little runner, and they absolutely have. They have disrupted the Friars offense, and it starts with the great ball pressure that Coach Bozzella talked about.
Scott now looking for some help. Looks like we had a quick foul on the Pirates there. It was on Maya Jackson as Widmeyer and Kira Spiewak return for Providence. In now for the Pirates, McKenna Hofschild replacing Lauren Park Lane. Her day might be done. A big hug from Coach Pizzella there, and rightfully so. She had a tremendous day. 10 points on 5 of 10 shooting from the field, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and only 2 turnovers in 32 minutes.
Great assist to turnover ratio for the rookie.
Scott set on the shot, but couldn't drop it in. And now Hofschild, a freshman from Prior Lake, Minnesota, will run the show here for the Pirates. Smith getting it inside. And now Elmore. Right down the lane she goes, and this time the rejection from Mary Baskerville.
Baskerville with her first block of the day. Leads the Big East at almost 2 per.
And with a timeout on the floor, Seton Hall up by 30. We'll be back with the final 4:38 from here in Providence, right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on Big East Digital Network.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall with 4:38 left in the fourth quarter. Take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Pirates. That upcoming game this Sunday with Creighton, a big one. You can catch that right here on the Big East Digital Network. And as you said earlier, Pam, they've got one of the easier schedules in terms of where the teams are right now heading down the stretch.
Yeah, St. John's certainly a hometown rivalry, and Xavier really a team under new coach Mel Moore, really giving some teams a lot of trouble. They could be a spoiler down the stretch.
Of course, on the other side for the Friars, they'll be hosting here on Sunday as they'll be battling actually St. John's, but you know, it's a tough matchup for the Friars coming off this Seton Hall game as well with the Johnnies coming to town.
Well, very similar teams, very athletic, led by point guard Tiana England, one of the top point guards in Big East play.
Here's Hofschild. Jackson now trying to penetrate. Funis couldn't quite get past Baskerville. It's close to being a shot clock violation, but the Friars able to gather possession. Fatima Lee. And skip pass for Widmeyer. Widmeyer now down the baseline. Baskerville, a chance for an easy one, but will have to earn her points at the line. It's been a tough one for Baskerville, one of the leaders in field goal percentage, just 1 of 5 from the field today. 5 points for the sophomore, and done really at the line where she's 3 of 4 here today.
Yeah, one of the things she's really improved on this year, obviously she had the well-documented, highly successful freshman campaign, but Mary Baskerville has really developed into a player that can find openings. She's moving better without the basketball. That time she found an open spot. Good cut. She wasn't able to finish, but she did find an opening, has a chance to earn 2 the hard way.
On the season, Baskerville hovering around 60% from the line. Well below her average today of almost 13 points per game with just those 5. And Coach Crowley there looking for answers, trying to find a combination that's going to work, but Baskerville comes up empty on both.
Yeah, she's really the go-to player. She's evolved into a leader for the Friars. Very difficult for this Providence squad to win without Mary Baskerville having a really solid day. Credit the Pirates for just taking her out of rhythm.
Hoffschild able to keep the possession alive, but then Fatima Lee a little bit too frisky on defense. It's called for the foul. Well away from the basket, so no foul shots upcoming. Inbounding duties will fall to Maya Jackson. And Hoffschild able to collect. Lee out to challenge with under 4 minutes to go. Gets past Widmeyer. Baskerville there with the foul. It'll be an and one opportunity for Maya Jackson.
You want to stop the basketball on the dribble penetration. We've seen that all day. Coach Crowley talked about it. Stopping the basketball. He knew Seton Hall was going to attack the rim. That's really what they're best at, Mike. They have a number of players that show that ability to put the ball on the floor. It's just been too easy. Too many points in the paint. That's a 32nd point in the paint today for Seton Hall.
32-20 advantage in that department. And they have out-rebounded the Friars by 16 as well. It's an all-around team performance here by Seton Hall. Friars trying to perhaps find their shooting touch or something to build on heading into the game with St. John's on Sunday. Here's Lee from the outside, and she connects from downtown.
And that's the pace you've got to play at. Better ball movement that time, crisper passes. Fatima Lee ready for the catch and shoot. That was one of the best offensive possessions in this second half.
Smith now with Jackson curling around. Now Hoffschild once again. Using the screen from Fumis. Shot a little bit short that time as it was redirected by Baskerville and Scott. Here's Lee trying to get into the paint. Outside for Spiewak. Spiewak finally slides it over for Widmeyer. Lee from the perimeter, same spot she hit from before, couldn't connect. Baskerville the rebound. Was looking for some contact, couldn't get it. Spiewak keeps it alive. And now Baskerville converts on the inside.
Yeah, Spiewak showing some hustle on that play.
Here's Smith, rejected by Baskerville on the other end. As the Friars trying to push the pace here, in desperate need of some points in a hurry. Spiewak long-range jumper is good. A little 7-0 run here by the Friars over the last minute and change. Unfortunately for them, a little too late as we head into the final 2 minutes. And the Friars trailing by 26. Hoffschild leaving it off now for Johnson. Johnson rejected again by Baskerville. Mary Baskerville getting it done on the defensive end. One of the league leaders in blocks coming into the game. Actually number 1 in the league at 38 coming into today. And timeout called by Seton Hall to talk things over. Just a 30-second timeout. We will keep it here for now. As I think, Pam, if you're both teams now, you're just trying to make sure that you close this one out with everyone on the same page. I think that's what Coach Mazzella also taking the opportunity to get a couple new players in that we haven't seen yet today. I think it was Whitney Howell and Victoria Keenan set the check in.
Well, and you can see him still coaching hard. He's going to keep the bar high, demand that same level of execution and intensity at both ends. And if you're a role player, when you get your opportunity, you want to make the most of any minute you get on the floor.
Always nice when you can find some time for everybody in a Big East game as well. Not always so easy. Hoffschild now. Down to 3 on the shot clock. They're going to have to hurry. And I don't think she got the shot off in time. They're letting it count for now. That was certainly close. Here's Erlette Scott right to the rack, and she's taken out of the play. And a quick slide by Femi Funis.
We featured Erlette Scott in the open, the 5'10 sophomore. Really plays hard at both ends. 8 points on the day so far, has an opportunity to get to that double-figure mark. Has really picked up her scoring over the last 5 games for Coach Jim Crowley.
Scott knocks down the first. She's up to 9 points for the day, looking to join Geary in double figures, and she does. Geary leading the Friars right now with 12, and Scott up to 10, but again, it's been the shooting percentage for the Friars today at just 28%. As they are just 15 of 53. We get a foul there on the offensive end by Whitney Howell. So a chance once again here for the Friars to get a couple more points. Widmeyer from downtown won't go. Cooper had her hands on it for a second, and it falls into Fatima Lee's lap. Spiewak sealed off on the baseline. Here's Lee once again. A little low for Widmeyer, and that'll be a turnover on the Friars. Just their 11th of the day, but their 7th of the second half.
Yeah, one of the few bright spots. Friars have been averaging 17 turnovers a game, valuing the ball, something that has been a theme in practice.
And that's coming off a game they only had 10 against Creighton as well. So that part of their game has definitely been developing as we get another quick one on Whitney Howell. 2 fouls for illegal screens set out high. Here now, Scott will bring it up once again, working it up the floor against Maya Jackson. Lee, off for Spiewak. Puts up the shot, no good. And the rebound collected by Jackson. About a half-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock here. Seton Hall could basically run it out, and it's exactly what Coach Bozzella wants them to do. So just simply hold the ball. But again, there's a slight differential between the 2 clocks. We'll see if she just kind of throws it up in the air. It's kind of a half-hearted shot here. So with 0.8 seconds, the Friars will have to inbound it one more time. Now Seton Hall will improve to 16-9, and more importantly, 9-5 in the Big East to stay in that 4th spot for now. But certainly a chance to move up depending on how games play out later on today. So we're going to step aside for just a few moments and be back in just a few to wrap things up from Friartown right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Sean. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, where Seton Hall has just knocked off the Friars 71-45. Time to send it on down to Megan Caffrey, who's standing by with our player of the game, Barbara Johnson, and head coach Anthony Bozzella.
Thanks, Mike. Barbara, Coach Bozzella told us coming into today, your team had to limit the Friars from three-point range. You hold them to shoot just 15% from three-point. How was your team effectively able to do that?
Our defense was great. We had great energy. We were able to get into the passing lanes, which allowed us to score easy buckets in transition.
Speaking of getting into the passing lanes, you had 2 steals today. How were you effectively able to get into the passing lane?
I started making a couple shots. I guess that kind of got me going on defense.
Offensively, you were one of 5 Pirates today to hit in double figures. How was your team moving the ball effectively?
They were just getting in the paint and kicking it out, and I was just ready to shoot.
Barbara, it's Valentine's Day. Are you a flowers or a chocolate girl?
Both.
My type of girl. Barbara, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach Bozzella, I'll go to you. Coach Bozzella, you had 5 of your players score in double digits today. Moving the ball effectively was something that you stressed to us coming into today's game. How do you assess how they did?
Megan, I was really proud of them defensively first, and I think that enabled us to move the ball and play a little bit. I told you at halftime I thought we weren't playing as well offensively. Second half, we really defensively played well and then really started to share the ball. And I think obviously Barbara played well, but Lauren Clark Lane played fantastic. She had a great week of practice. She played fantastic. And of course, Alexia Alesh played fantastic as well. She guarded back, their best player, and we did a great job. She didn't score a basket in the first half basketball. And I just think it's a team game. And today, maybe our best players weren't on, but that's why we have really good teammates and really good players. I'm really, really proud of Barbara and LP especially.
As we're coming down the stretch of league play, how important is it to get a win on the road?
Oh, you have no idea. I mean, I love my family and everything, but this is the best Valentine's present I could get. So no offense back home, but the girls really, they really are trying their best, and everyone's battling sickness and injury on every team. But I was proud of our kids who fought through it this week and found a way to win. It was really important for us, and I know how hard it is. And stuff. And now our men, get to play here tomorrow night, and hopefully they'll do the same. I have a lot of confidence in them.
Coach, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Megan.
Mike and Pam.
Thank you, Megan. That was Megan Caffrey with head coach Anthony Bozzella, and of course our player of the game, Barbara Johnson. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And Pam, just a tough shooting day for the Friars. They finished as 15 of 55 from the field, but again, you really got to credit the lockdown defense of the Pirates.
How about 7th time all year that they've limited their opponent to under 50 points? That's really tremendous effort, and you heard Coach Bozzella say it. It took all 5 players that were locked in. He's really proud of the effort, and what a way to start the road trip.
So, again, with the win, Seton Hall improves to 16-9 overall, 9-5 in the Big East. The Friars drop to 10-15 overall, 1-12 in conference play. That'll pretty much do it for us here in Providence. On behalf of our entire hardworking Big East Digital Network team and my broadcast partner, Pam Roker, and of course our sideline analyst, Megan Caffrey, I'm Mike Mancuso saying goodbye from Friartown.